Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes, and two-time Oscar winner Cate Blanchett has a new movie in theaters, and maybe you've read the book. It's Where Do You Go, Bernadette, but now we gotta talk about the movie. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Now before we get too far, don't forget click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I have other movie reviews as well as my recent appearances on Twin Cities Live and some interviews from some press junkets. Now Cate Blanchett, she stars as Bernadette. She is this world-renowned architect, but she's really kind of going through some mental health issues and suffering from anxiety. Her husband, played by Crudup, and her daughter, played by newcomer Emma Nelson, try to stage an intervention, but she essentially escapes and heads to Antarctica, of all places. It also stars Kristen Wiig, Judy Greer, and Lawrence Fishburne in smaller roles. Now, I mentioned it is based on the best-selling novel by Maria Semple. I've never read the book, so I can't really compare the two, but this is directed and co-written by Richard Linklater. You may know his masterpiece Boyhood and the Before trilogy. Now, Linklater is really peeling back the layers here about what Bernadette's younger life and career were like, and what may have led to these issues. We see the crumbling nature of Bernadette as her progression with mental illness and anxiety worsens. It tackles these issues head-on without resorting it to it as a complete punchline, like you may have seen in the trailers. There are some funny moments, but it brings these issues to the forefront without any sort of judgment. We then see how it's affecting her husband and her daughter in two very different ways. There's a scene where we see her yard collapse into a mudslide, breaking through this brick wall and causing massive destruction to her neighbor's house. She's played by Kristen Wiig, and I really think that this is a good metaphor for Bernadette's state of mind. Now, all that being said, there is somewhat of a far-fetched nature to it, given her trek to Antarctica. You kind of have to reach into your imagination and just go along with her adventures. Now, it should come as no surprise that Cate Blanchett is just simply divine as the fractured Bernadette. I loved watching every minute of her, balancing just how far to play into her to kind of really give it a realistic portrayal. I was reminded of her Oscar-winning performance in Blue Jasmine. As her husband, Crudup, is also wonderful, really giving him a grieving approach, looking for these answers to what's happening to his wife. And last but not least, Kristen Wiig does an admirable job of playing the kind of zany neighbor without resorting to a caricature performance. Richard Linklater handles the story with grace, keeping the camera work and the editing simple and straightforward. I felt like it was a little incomplete toward the end. Maybe that's on purpose, but I'd like to kind of go back now and read the book to kind of really keep up with these characters. I'm giving Where Do You Go, Bernadette 4 out of 5 ticket subs. Now, if you like my review today, click subscribe, like I mentioned, on my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip, and then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews, as well as the new trailer for Greta Gerwig's adaptation of Little Women. Thank you so much for watching Paul's Trip to the Movies.